looks like it's working. Is it still laggy? Jeez Louise, what the heck's wrong with this thing? I wonder what's going on. Why it? I tested it before I started, and it was recording fine, but for some reason it's lagging again. I don't understand. Maybe it's the YouTube app. Huh. Well, I guess that's the way it's gonna be. Hey everyone. So this is episode 17 of Gear Talk. Apologize for the low frame rate. I don't know what the heck's going on with the thing. I tested it beforehand and it worked just fine. There might be something going on with the YouTube app, so I'm gonna have to file a ticket, I guess. I don't know. It's been working flawlessly for, a year now, and it hasn't had any issues. And now 2 times in a row, it's a problem. So it is what it is. At least I'm sure the audio is good. The audio looks okay. The audio seems fine. So so long as the audio works, I'm gonna start pushing these out as a podcast so people can listen in their car. I know that it's a visual medium, and I bring up a lot of examples, but there are people who have a hard time sitting around and watching somebody talk for an hour, and I don't blame them. I'm probably one of them, but I have a long commute, so I am going to dump this out to a podcast probably tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This is Gear Talk. This is where I like to just kind of get a little geeky and talk about the skates and hardware that I like, share things that I've learned, and answer some questions that you might have in the chat. We do this live, usually on Thursday nights. This week is Wednesday night. My daughter's gymnastics was moved, so tonight is a free night, and I prefer doing it on Wednesdays. So Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's about every other week, but follow the Back to Blading on Instagram or on Facebook, and you'll get the information. It's also a good place to leave some comments, to ask questions. I try to get to as many questions as I can. I don't get to all of them, but at least if it's on the list, I will remember to at least address it in a future episode, if not tonight. First of all, just wanted to thank everybody for participating in the blading community. Shirts, if you ordered a shirt, it should be there. If it's the wrong size, if it doesn't show up, if whatever happens, let me know. It's just me pushing them out. So if you have any issues with the shirt or anything, don't feel bad about writing me back and saying, hey, it doesn't fit, or hey, there's something wrong with it. Definitely, want to make you all happy. Thanks again for believing in us and supporting it so that we could make these t-shirts. It was a huge success. We brought in enough t-shirts to cover our costs, which was great. And we have the next trick coming tomorrow. So we just finished up the video with some of the Slack to Blading community members doing the trick, and it's going to be a good one. I think there's going to be a lot of creativity. It's going to be a trick that anybody can do, regardless of your age, regardless of your skates. If you've got wheels on your feet, you can do this trick. So it's going to be a great one. I really love it. I want to see if we can get over 200 submissions this month. It is a short month, so it's not going to have as much time as we had in January. But I think with the inclusiveness, having a trick that anybody can do on any skate is going to be really great. Again, thank you for participating. There are a few more t-shirts left. Go to the website, backtoblading.com/shop, I think, is where you can get info on the shirts, and backtoblading.com/community to get information on the project. That's where we'll be announcing it tomorrow, probably around 6 p.m. Eastern. Just depends on what time I get home from work. So this week, huge news, huge news, but not huge news. So Rosie's announced that they are bringing back the Fifth Element. So the Fifth Element was probably Rosie's first real aggressive skate. So they had the Majestic 12, and obviously that was the first aggressive skate. But the only real change from the aggressive 12, the Majestic 12, aggressive 12, the Majestic 12 to the Rosie's Moscow, or what was the other one? The Barcelona, like those other recreational skates, was that it had a different frame. The Majestic 12 was, the very similar style to the original Rollerblade TRS, the same as the Valo V13s, you know, and they brought them back as the Majestic 12. This is that classic shell that Rossi's has been making for 30 some odd years. The Majestic 12 came back, and after the Majestic 12 first was released, they started work on a new skate called the Fifth Element. And the Fifth Element is coming back. So here's what the original ones looked like. So these were the Fifth Elements. I think this was the version 2 of the Fifth Element. It has some small changes to the one that I remember. The groove was a little different, but essentially this was Rossi's first real aggressive skate from the ground up. This was the one that they, you know, sold for many, many years, and kind of led the way from the Majestic 12 to, what was it, the Grawl and the Cootie. Those are all like the different generations of the Majestic 12. I keep saying Majestic 12. Fifth Element, from the Fifth Element shell. What made this Fifth Element unique was, you know, a few things. First of all, it had a flat sole. So the Majestic 12, actually meant to say at that time, was a raised heel boot, and it had a raised heel sole. So it didn't have that flat sole like the V13s have. This V13 has that sole plate that makes it UFS. That sole plate provided a flat sole. And what I mean by that is, if you look at these old rollerblades, this is the same boot, but if you look at it without a sole plate, you can see that this sole area in the back is higher than the sole area in the front. And what that meant is, if you wanted to do sole tricks with these skates, it would be really difficult to lock on. You look at any of the old, like in the Hoax days, or Mad Beef, or Bottom Line, or Dare to Air. They weren't really doing soles in Dare to Air, but any of the videos from back in those days, you would see that they leaned back on their sole because they wanted to do I have my reel? God, I always forget my reel. They wanted to do sole tricks, and they had to lean on this little fin. So instead of flat, so that we jump on and your wheels are parallel to the obstacle, they were actually tilted a little bit. Then companies like CDS started coming out with these little angle attachments that would mount to the side and give you that flat sole. It would lower the sole and make it flush with the front of the sole, so that when you would lock on nice and solid and nice and stable. With UFS, in order to make the original classic shell work with UFS, they created these sole plates. The sole plate has, you can kind of see under there, the little fin is still there. The sole plate has a little rise area so that the back of the sole is actually nice and flat. But this was, you know, a sole plate on a existing boot. This was the first iteration of that. So, you know, the Majestic 12 never had that sole plate in the days. It was just, you know, a maybe slightly beefier little fin back there. This was their first real aggressive, like progressive skate that they actually invested time in making a nice new mold. So a couple of the features of this classic Fifth Element. First, you know, the flat sole that I talked about before. The really nice tight groove with a replaceable H-block. The groove was really good. These came with, what, 57s? You would normally ride these skates with like 55s, 56s, maybe even 54s back in those days. I don't remember the original ones coming with grind plates, but this one definitely did. These are in really good condition. I don't think they've ever seen a grind, but they have this interesting double lacing system, and this this two-tone area is actually, it's the same material, but it's a lot thinner, which means that when you tighten it, it's a lot softer up here than if you were tightening it into the outside of the shell. And that just makes it a much more comfortable, like kind of clamshells around your foot, much better feel. The liner was really nice and beefy. It had this leather on the outside. The buckle was, I don't know if it was anything special, but it definitely looks nice. It had this little rolly thing that seemed cool. And the killer feature, if you ask me, was this Royale groove. So this was the first one that I remember that had a really deep Royale groove in the boot itself. So the sole plate, you could get down really nice and lock on those Royale tricks. And this is the skate that you'd start seeing Farfanugans, like back farves. John Julio notoriously was, doing backside farv with these skates. Just incredible because you could get down low and you'd stay on this groove and you wouldn't get on the boot. You would just slide on this. So a lot of people have been asking for the Fifth Elements. Again, the Fifth Elements are one of those skates that everybody loves and they remember from the past. And the Brosis listened. I don't know if it's the nostalgia or if it's the loss of Volo and the need to, restart the company and look at their roots. But they are bringing back the Fifth Element. Kinda. So the Fifth Element that they're coming back is a very similar looking boot. I don't know. I haven't seen one of them in person, so I don't know what they actually look like. But I've seen some pictures, and let me get my drill so that I can take off this frame real quick. So assuming this doesn't spin, I'm going to take the frame off so that you can see what the mount looks like. Get out of there. These screws have not been changed in a long time, I think. Ugh, get out of there. Oh, I gotta take the grind plate off too. All right. 3 more to go. Loosen up, you jerk. These axles have a square side and a round side, which was awesome. Makes it really easy for doing it with just one, but of course if it gets stuck, and this isn't a real drill, this is a screwdriver, it's not going to come out super easily. Let me see if I can get the other ones out there. All right, that one came out nice and easy. One more. Didn't think you'd see this happening tonight, did you? All right, let me see if I can get this last one out. All right, there we go. So, this is what the original Fifth Elements looked like. Oh, get off. Oh, it's still in there. Let me pop this axle out. All right, if you have never seen them before, this is what the bottom looks like. So, the Fifth Element had this really unique mounting system where it had these little like triangle sort of mounts and the axles would go through here. So there was the axle for the H block in the middle and then there were the two between wheels 1 and 2 and wheels 3 and 4. What a unique design, right? So, I mean, this must have been super stable. The problem, of course, is if you're trying to mount a sole plate on there. Do I have an extra sole plate? I don't know that I have an extra sole plate. If you're trying to mount a sole plate on there, how do you do that, right? You have to have a very unique frame to fit this mounting system. So some people have sawed these off. You can just cut them off with a Dremel or with a jigsaw or something like that and cut it off. And then you can mount them with UFS, but that's not really the right way to do it. What Brosis is doing, I'm not really sure if it's a brand new shell or what, but it looks like they have just a Fifth Element boot. This area where the sole plate mounts is flush. So it comes down and there's no little edge area for the frame to mount in the sole plate in. And then this bottom area just has standard bolts so that just like a Majestic 12 with a sole plate, you would screw in those bolts and then the UFS bolts would screw into that sole plate. So it is a Fifth Element, but it's not this Fifth Element. That's probably not a bad thing. These skates were really heavy. I have my scale. Let's put this back on. I have my scale out here. I wanted to see how heavy they were for you. So the Fifth Element, this is a, you know, I'll put in the axles just so that I'm 100% accurate. I don't know what size this is. I think it's a size 10. All right. So we're looking at 2,148 grams for a single Fifth Element. Now let me measure some other skates real quick. So let's grab these Aeons. Let's grab these Aeons. All right. 1,818. That's hundreds of grams less. That's a big difference. Granted, these are fairly light skates, but those Fifth Elements are so heavy. I'm really hoping that the new Fifth Elements are lighter. Obviously, without that big, bulky frame, it should be. It just, I don't know. I haven't tried them yet. What I have heard is that the shell is a little bit wider and it's a little bit longer for each size. One of the complaints that people usually have with the Majestic 12 or with the old Valo V13s is that they're a little narrow. And apparently these Fifth Elements are not as narrow. They're nice and wide, so it should be really nice. They are coming with the Valo two-piece, I think it's called, the two-piece sole plate. So these are the ones that you would normally find on the skinned Valos, the skinned V13s. So, you know, like the Victor Arias or the like the John Julio, what was the last one? The those tan ones, the Hemps, I think. Maybe those were lights. But you know the sole plate. It's not the one that looks like this with the big groove. It's the one with the little shallow groove. And a lot of people like that. A lot of people like you know, putting those sole plates on other skates. So it's nice that they're making new sole plates. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't skated those yet. I'm really interested to see what they're going to slide like. But yeah, Fifth Elements. Who would have thought, right? So apparently they're going to be out skating them next week over at Winter Clash. I didn't see any Rossi's booth at ISPO, or at least I didn't say any pictures of any Rossi's booths at ISPO. But if you follow the Rossi's Instagram, you've seen some pictures. And I think Joe, there were some spy shots of Joe skating them. They seem like they're fine skates. I mean, I'm going to get a set as soon as they come in so that I can test them out, you know, as I always do. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how they're going to ride. You know, I don't know if I don't know what the price is going to be. I don't know, you know, it doesn't seem like it's that much of an upgrade over a standard Majestic 12, which, what's a Majestic 12, 180 bucks? I mean, 200 bucks? Like the Pro models are 220, right? So that's, I mean, I sure hope that these Fifth Elements aren't more than 220. I mean, they're even anti-rocker. They don't come with, you know, 8 wheels. They come with 4 wheels and little anti-rocker nubs. So if they can land them around 200 bucks, I think they're going to have a huge hit on their hands. I haven't seen any MSRPs. I don't know what they're going to come in at, but that's where I'd like to see the skates, especially with no Pro model associated with them. 200 bucks is probably where I'd like to see them. If it's 220, probably would be fine. It looks like the liner has been upgraded, so, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt. But anything more than that, I don't know. I mean, nostalgia is pretty good, but I don't know if they're that, I don't know, worth that much. But anyway, love to hear if you guys are interested in it. Leave some comments if it's a good-looking skate to you. If you plan on getting it, I'd be really curious. If anybody wants it, aside from just the look, if nostalgia is the reason, you know, are you looking at it because the size is good? Are you looking at it because you just love the color? They haven't made a burgundy skate in a while, so that might be a nice thing. I don't know, I'm curious, but I can't wait to get a set. I'm actually going to plan on skating these old Fifth Elements in a future video to see what they feel like, because I never really skated Fifth Elements, just to see what they were like. And yeah, then I'll have an opinion on what the new ones feel like in summer. All right. Geez, that stupid frame rate. I'm really sorry, guys. I honestly, I took a sample video before I started, and it worked fine. Maybe it's something to do with like a pre-scheduled video that's stuttering. Makes no sense. I'll do some testing again tomorrow to see if I could figure it out. Otherwise, I'll send YouTube an email and probably never get a response. But it's just, I mean, come on. I shouldn't, my hand shouldn't move that slowly. At least the audio is fine, right? Yes, YouTube is bad. All right. Speaking of new skates, let's get into my new skates. So I went over to Oak City Skate Shop yesterday and picked up a pair of new skates for testing. So first of all, these shadows have been great. I absolutely love them. I think that they are great skates for the right person. I don't know who that person is though. So from a skating perspective, I felt like I was skating really good on them. I think the combination of the Wish frame with this big shadow sole plate has been a really nice combination. I see why Shredpool likes it so much. The groove is perfect. It lines up nice. The sole is great. You feel like, you're an idiot for missing a sole. I learned top soles on these things and they slid great. I have no issues with any, sliding or any issues there. The problem is, and I'll have my review out probably next week. I got a busy weekend coming up, but I was planning on finishing it up this weekend. It's probably going to be next weekend. The problem is, I just don't know why anybody would want them. It sounds horrible, but why do you want these skates? If you wanted a big sole, you could get some Shifts, or you could get them 908s with some King soles, or you could get some Gods. I mean, there are so many different ways that you could get a big sole. If you wanted, a nice fit with like a crank in the middle, you could get some New Jacks. You could get some K2 Unnaturals. You could get some Seba. There are plenty of skates out there with a 45-degree strap that would be nice like that. I mean, hell, the USD Carbon, same deal. I don't like the look down. I think that this is a hot mess. When I'm skating and I look down and I see that my toe is extending over the edge of the skate, I start thinking that something's wrong. And that's just the way that it is. This skate is just designed that way. I don't like that this happens. So you can see it's all buckled in, but my foot kind of moves. The problem with that is if my foot's not moving, right? But the frame underneath it, if my frame moves a little bit this way, then I've got a frame that's going this way, but my foot's going that way. I don't know how many times I've fallen because I expected the wheels to be right under my foot, but they were off by a little bit. It's like the frame is just a little angled. Because it just moves around too much, And I'm sure that there's a way to lock that in, but it just didn't feel right. Finally, the big selling point of the Shadows was, you bring your own shoes. And, I don't normally wear low top, Chuck Taylor style shoes, but a lot of people do. And you could bring those shoes to this skate and just strap in and skate and then strap off and walk away. If I do that, I'm walking around with these crazy high tops. And that's fine, but they're not comfortable for walking. They're kind of like snowboard boots, if you've ever gone snowboarding. They're just these high top boots that just feel like kind of moon boots. I think they're great for skates, and if you put your foot in, it's a much better liner than the low top and then the cuff that kind of strapped around. But if you wanted to get this as a transformable sort of thing and walk around with this liner, the liner isn't that great to walk. I walked around with it for, I don't know, a few blocks or so just to test it out, and it's fine, but it's not a comfortable boot. It's not a comfortable shoe. It's not designed for walking. I don't know. I mean, finally, if you're skating, maybe they're designed for big wheel, but I didn't like them for big wheel. The wiggle with the bottom was too much, and I would kind of, lose my angle, and that wasn't a good feeling. So, you know, I think they're really great with aggressive, and I, again, feel like I was skating really good with aggressive, but you're not going to skate distance with these things. It's not like you're going to skate, you know, from your house to the coffee shop and then, you know, take them off and walk in, because you have to have aggressive frames for that. You know, you could put on the big wheels, but there's just not enough support. I don't know. I think it's an interesting skate. I'm really glad that I got a pair because now I know what they feel like. I think they're great for aggressive skates. And if you want a big sole, you could do much worse than getting a pair of these skates. I don't know that they're for everyone. I don't know that the gimmick of taking your boot out and walking around is worth the price. I think that, you know, you can probably get a better skate designed specifically for aggressive for the same price. I don't know what these run, 300, 320 or something like that. But that's like in the USD Carbon level. The carbon free level, that's, you know, the Razor Shift 2, that's, you know, the New Jack Pro. Like, there's plenty of skates for that $300 range that I would probably recommend over this. But it's a great skate to try. So if you've never skated them, see if you can get a pair, try them out. Again, I skated really good in them. I am planning on going back to my them skates to see how well I skate without these big old soles, but yeah, I think these are a very niche product, and I'm not sure who the niche is. All right, cool. So let me do my new skates. So, getting back to it. So I just finished up the Shadows, and just yesterday I went over to Oak City Skate Shop and saw Long, and he got me a pair. Yeah, I paid for them, but he had ordered me a pair of new skates that I'd been looking to try. Haven't seen them in the wild. Feel like they're kind of a sleeper. Like, they're probably pretty good, but most people don't even think about them. So here we go. All right. Sticking with the USD, shout out to Matthias for keeping the company alive for so many years. And here we go. Whoop. Any guesses? Any guesses? All right. These are the 2018, I think, USD 7, spelled with a VII. I think these are the, what version are these? These are the black and white. They don't really have a name. They're the team ones are like the all black ones. The big difference between these and the team ones, these run about $220. So again, trying to do my best skate for $200 thing. You know, I've gone through the Valo V13, now Majestic 12. I've done the Rollerblade New Jacks. I've done the K2 Unnaturals. These are next in line. These are the USD 7s. They're like $220. You can get the cheaper ones for like $189, I think. The main difference, I think that they come with better wheels, even though I've heard these wheels are pretty bad. But the main difference is that this comes with a really nice MyFit liner. Ooh. So it comes with this Fat Boy liner. It is heat moldable. It is super squishy. It's got this really cool, like, I don't know what the heck this is, some sort of a plasticky woven material underneath. Looks like it's really breathable. It's got the little stretchiness in the toe, so that, you know, even though I'm a size 10.5, this is a size 10. It'll stretch a little bit to fit my foot. Very cool. I really am excited to skate these. The biggest reason is, let me pull out the insole. So, never mind the Civica, rest in peace, Civica logo on this heel pad. But this is a flat sole boot. So if you remember back in the days, I've done a few videos comparing the flat soles with the race heel boots. Main difference, we talked a little bit earlier today. Classic skate, this is the Rollerblade TRS. You can see that the heel is taller than the front. That means that you get this natural lean forward, which is actually a good thing. The problem is that there's a lot of wasted space. So if you just have plastic back here, if you had a flat boot, you could raise the heel with a nice shock absorber, which gives you a little bit of squish. It's better than just having, plastic back here. You'll still get the same heel raise, but then you'll have a flat mounting surface for UFS. UFS is the frame mounting standard that frames, do I have any frames with me? I don't even have a frame with me. That frames now come with, all frames with UFS are interchangeable. And with this being a flat mount, the frame just mounts directly on. The sole plate actually screws in, which is kind of nice. With the Seba, if you have the Seba, it just screws right into the boot. Granted, it's a carbon shell, so it's a little different. But this actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that screw this sole plate into the shell, and then the UFS bolts go all the way through, so you can see that little UFS bolt where the frame mounts to it. Really, really awesome. And for $220, you really can't go wrong for this skate. You can find them on closeout, because these are 2018 models. You can find them on closeout for less than $200, I'm sure. They come with the Kaiser Fluid frame, which I've never skated either. I don't know what to think about them. It is very similar, in my opinion, to the Featherlight 3. It is a very little internal arch system. It has a nice deep groove designed for anti-rocker, which is going to be great for these little anti-rocker nubs. It comes with 57 millimeter. Are these 57s? It doesn't have a number on. Oh, yeah, it does. 57 millimeter. It says that they're 89A. I'll test that and see. But I've heard the wheels aren't very good, but it's not bad. It looks like this frame can fit probably a 62 millimeter if I had one, maybe even 64. This sole plate isn't ground out for Wish frames, but it sure could be. Looks like there's enough plastic there. But guys, it's a $200 flat boot. Like, this is what we've been looking for, Flat boots are the way to go. There's only a few of them out there. There's the Seba, there's the carbon/carbon free / Gods. There's this 7, there's the Razor Shift, there's the Razors SL, there's the K2 Unnatural, which kind of has a slight raise, but not too much. And that's really about it that I can think of. There might be more. I don't know that I can think of any more. But I love recommending a flat sole. I don't like the wasted space. I don't like not having a shock absorber. So for me, doing gaps, doing airs with these skates, I hope that it feels good. And look at this sole. It's massive. So this thing is it as big as my shadow? It might be as big as my shadow. It's pretty close. Oh my God, it's like the same size as my shadow. So I'm probably not gonna have any difference with these. But look at this groove angle. This Royale angle is just gonna be a mess because this groove is so deep. Like compared to the Wish, which is a pretty high frame. I don't know if you can really see it, but compared to the Wish, which is a pretty high frame, this groove is so low that this angle, I'm not gonna have to get down much at all to do boot down Royale tricks. Anyway, super excited to get these skates. I'm gonna skate them this weekend, I hope, if weather allows. I'll be doing a live stream from the Durham Skate Park, hopefully Saturday morning, depends on how the kids do this week and if I can sneak away. Otherwise, it'll be Sunday morning. I usually get there around 9:30 or so pencil that into your calendars. I hope that the live stream doesn't have a problem with the stuttering or anything like that, but I guess we'll see when we get out there. Super excited to get these skates. I don't know what else to say. I think they're a great design. They look pretty generic, to be honest. There's no, this is the most flat looking. It is, so this is the same skate that the Roman Abrate, or Roman Abrate skate is based on. The Roman has a skin around it, which makes it look completely different, but it's the same skate. This looks like a skate that doesn't have a skin on it. Like, it is completely flat. There's no style. There's nothing. It's just this blob of like chewing gum. You know, there's nothing going on here. Which is all right. I mean, I don't mind it. I think the look down, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's a flat boot. So I'm super excited to try them. Tune in this weekend. I'll probably post on the Facebook and the Instagram when I do it. Probably either Saturday or Sunday. I'm leaning Saturday. Just depends on how busy we get during the week. But yeah, USC 7's next skate. The USC Shadow review should be up in a couple of weeks. Yeah, thanks for watching my silly skate reviews. I really appreciate it. All right. Solos, yeah, Ben. I can't buy them though. Where can I buy them? They're not new. You can get a used pair of Solos, I'm sure, or closeout Solos, but these are in production now. They're even available. The Roman skates them now. Yeah. Al, yes, the shell sizing. That's something that I do need to address, and I will address in the review. These 7s are very tight. This shell is notorious for downsizing, apparently. So if you were a size 9, you would get the size 7/8 shell and get, you know, some skinny boy liners or some intuitions and put them in your size 7/8 shell. This is the 9/10 shell. I'm a 28.5 centimeters. This liner is rated 27.5 to 28. The next liner up starts at 28.7. So it's like my little, 28.5 is kind of in the middle of the two. I'm hoping that it'll stretch out a little bit. For comparison, where did they go? Oh, here they are. For comparison, these are my, God, how light these are. These are my my old Powerside Imperials. These are the fat boys that came with them. These things are 27.9 to 28.6. So for some reason, these fat boys should fit, and they're the same. It's so weird. It's the same 43-44, which is the other one. So I'm going to measure and see if these fat boys or these fat boys, I mean, these would probably look pretty dope in here anyway, but yeah, I think the liner's going to make the difference. I think the shell itself isn't going to be a problem, but the liner is going to be my issue. So yeah, we'll see if they fit and see how they work. I don't know. I mean, that's why I do it, and I'll have a review up saying how the sizing is for somebody with a 28.5 foot. Yeah, that makes sense, Al. I'll do what I can. What size is the shell stamped with? The shell. I'm assuming that's on the inside. Oh, I don't know where to find it. There it is. This is the 43-44. That's what size the shell is stamped with. And I don't think the shell is going to be a problem. The shell is pretty big. The problem is the liner. But I hope that it'll stretch out a little bit. We'll see. They sure look nice. It's just weird that this one says 43-44 and then it's 27.5-28, whereas that one was, 27.8 to 28.5? Like, why would they have two, I don't know. Same branded, same size liner, but it is actually a different size. That's strange to me. All right. So let's see. It's about 40 minutes in. Would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. It's been a busy couple of weeks, you know. So the Compass wheels pre-orders went really well. Thanks everybody for the support. They're in production now, and they should be done and ready to ship out end of the month, which is crazy. You know, I've never done wheels before, so I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But you know, we're gonna start with 72 millimeter and 100 millimeter. And then, you know, I've got some 80 millimeters coming in for testing. So the 72s is what I'm skating now on the UFC Shadows with the Wish frames. And the 100s, these are the 100s. They're in green, but they're actually supposed to be black. Is what I skate with my tri-skates on the Sebas. I've loved the wheels. I think that you're going to love the wheels. They come in all black with a black hub. They will be hopefully in stock in a few shops in March, and if you pre-ordered, you'll get them as soon as I get them, which will be the end of February, hopefully, maybe first week of March. It's a new vendor. I've never made wheels before, so I don't know how production actually works, how long it takes to ship, things like that. So I'm learning. I'm really good about making frames now. I got to learn how to make wheels. So thank you all for the support and encouragement. It's scary jumping into a new market, especially a big wheel market that I'm just learning about. You know, I know aggressive pretty well, but I'm just learning about big wheels. It's only been a couple years since I've had anything bigger than a 72. And I love it. I think that, you know, as you get older and as your knees get older and they don't heal as quickly, I think that aggressive skaters will slowly start migrating out to big wheels. And do the wizardy stuff, do the urban stuff. Just have fun skating around your city. You know, if you've got a wife, if you've got kids, if you've got a husband and you've got kids or friends, you know, you can just put your skates on and it sure beats going to the gym. Like, who wants to go to the gym? So put your skates on and go skate. And that's what Compass is all about. I think it's going to be refreshing. I'm really excited to get the wheels in and start seeing what people think about them, you know, and make tweaks and, you know, change the formula a little bit to make them wear a little faster, but they'll be more comfortable, or make them a little harder so that they take longer to wear down, but they're not as comfort. I don't know. Like, there's so many things that I want to learn about wheels. So thanks for supporting me on this journey. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see them. Oh, Winter Clash. Yeah, so Winter Clash is coming up. Winter Clash is next week, and it's going to be huge. One quick plug, you know, I'm really good friends with the guys over at Blader Union. They will have a live stream of everything at Winter Clash. And what's awesome is they have press passes. So they're apparently the only live stream that will have a press pass. So you'll probably find a few live streams on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. The Blader Union guys are doing it right. They got permission, they got the voucher, they got the little tag so that they can go out on the course, and they're going to be live streaming with commentary all throughout the event. Go to bladerunion.com for information. Subscribe to the Blader Union YouTube channel. I know you know how to use YouTube because you're watching this. Go to the Blader Union channel. Subscribe there. They will have all the information ahead of Winter Clash with their schedule so that you know when to tune in. It's going to be a great event. It is probably the biggest inline event that we have. I had a blast at Blading Cup. It was the biggest Blading Cup that I think we had in the last few years, but it pales in comparison to the size of Winter Clash. This is the main event. And if you want to watch, Blader Union's your place to go. You know, I'll be talking about it, of course, after with my friend Ben on the podcast. But, you know, if you want to watch it when it goes down, as it goes down, I think Blader Union is the place to go. Next week, 14th, I think, is the day that it starts. 14, 15, 16, I think. I think those dates are right. So, yeah, definitely check it out. Oki Rider, Compass wheels making aggressive size, 60 millimeters. No, so Compass is just going to be big wheels. I think we might make a 68. I don't know. I mean, those new Kaiser elements look pretty great, and it's kind of sad that there's only a couple wheels available for it. I don't have a pair of those Kaiser elements. When I get them, I'm going to test out the wheels and see what works. But you know, if I can't find a 68 and if there's a market for a 68, we'll definitely look into making a 68 millimeter wheel. But, you know, the initial roadmap, you know, we're going to start with the 72s and the 100s. Those are the wheels that I skate myself. You know, I love skating my 72 mil Aeons. I love skating my Wish frames. Those both use 72 mil wheels. So for me, I want to get some 72s in because that's what I like to ride. And then the 100s. 100s are a great size. That's what I ride with the NR100s on the Wizards. That's what I ride in the Trimax. That's what I ride on the ground control Tri-Skate frames. 100 is a really great balance between this big wheel, so you get that coast from a big wheel, but you don't have to put in the energy to get up to top speed like you would with a 110 or a 125. So I really love the 100s. 72s and 100s to start. We're bringing in some samples for 80s. I don't have a ton of money, so I can only bring in 2 sizes in the beginning. We're bringing in some 80s samples to get tested, to see what they're good for. My friend Drew and Brock are going to try them on some Flatland stuff. You know, they do kind of like a mix between Flatland and like dancing, spin stuff that I don't know how to do, but I'm really looking forward to just being more nimble on my skates. And I think that the 80s is a good balance for that. So I want to bring in the 80s, and then obviously I am going to bring in 110s. If you want to skate distance, if you want to skate over rougher terrain, you know, 110, the bigger the wheel is going to feel really nice. You definitely need the right frames for those. You know, the Kaiser Trimax are great. These Imperials are great. The USD Next are great. The Flying Eagle F7s are great. There's plenty of skates out there that'll accommodate 110. So that's going to come next. So those are the first 4 in that order. 72 and 100 at launch, 80s right afterwards, and then 110s right after that. All of the wheels are going to be 85A. 85 is a really great durometer for just urban skating. You don't want something too hard because when you land, you're not going to have that, I don't know, you need a little bit of cushion. So a softer wheel will give you a little bit of cushion. Also gives you a little bit more grip when you're skating, when you're carving and stuff. Funny enough, when you're doing slides, you know, you can get a 90 and you'll slide just fine. But the profile of the wheel is the most important thing for a slide. So if you have a really nice bullet profile, when you do a slide and you turn really tight and you push down and really lean into that slide, the profile of the wheel is what really matters. The you know, 85A, the mushroom blade wheels are 85A, and you see, you know, Joey and Todd and Leon have no issues doing slides in 85A. So I think that 85A is the right size for us. I am definitely going to look into making some 88s and maybe even 90s, maybe even 82s. I don't know. That's the whole thing about Compass. I really want to experiment and try different hardnesses and try different profiles and see what works best for me and what works best for my friends who are experts at what style they like to do. And you know, I want to make wheels for people to have fun on skates. So as for smaller wheels, yes, 50/50 is working on some wheels. 60 millimeter is a really great size. It is probably the biggest size that you could fit on a balance frame. These, where did they, oh, I don't have them on here. Where did my, oh, you know what, I put my shred pools on the other ones, but, so, you know, you can easily fit, with a little bit of mod, a 60 millimeter wheel on a medium balance frame. With no mods, you could sit a 64 millimeter, on balance frames. I really like the idea of 60s. 58s for flat is a really great size, you know, not only the balance frames, but on the Create Originals, on the new Sola frames, you know, 58 is a really amazing size, so we're going to be looking into making those. And then maybe some smaller ones, you know, bring back the 55s, bring back the 52s. Like, I don't know. I want to experiment. Again, I just love trying something new. And wheels is something that I haven't experimented with. You know, I've never experimented with wheels. So I want to keep making new sizes and keep trying different hardnesses, different profiles to find out what works best for me. I feel like I know aggressive skating pretty well, and I have friends who can put it through their paces and test to make sure that they are the right wheel for me. But that's what 50/50 is going to work on. Probably the max is going to be around 60, maybe 65, we'll see. But probably the max is around 60, and all the way down to, I don't know, who knows? I think a 55 is definitely in the cards eventually. I don't know if we'll go any lower than that, but we'll see. I've been wrong before, so I never say no to things. I just like to keep experimenting. 78. 78s would be nice. 78A or 78 mil, Drew. Yeah, 88s are good for, they're definitely really good for wood ramps. So if you are skating aggressive, try 88A wheels. What are 88s that I have? My dead wheels are 88s. Where are those? Ooh, I don't know where they went. They're probably on some frame somewhere. But the 88A dead wheels are really great. I wasn't a fan of the 92s. I felt like it was just too hard. And especially if you're skating anti-rocker, for me, I want a little bit more comfort. You get so much little clack, 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 skating over little cracks in the ground. And if you're skating really hard wheels, you can really feel those clack, clack, clacks. With an 88, it's much better. I would assume with an 85, it's going to be even better. I haven't tested an 85. I don't think anybody makes an 85 60 millimeter wheel. I would love to test one though. I think soft wheels are the way to go, especially now with my knees not feeling so great. Yeah, if you're skating anti-rocker, who cares? Get the wheel that's best for the skating condition, Get something that's soft. Get something that's going to grip good. Get something that's going to be fast, and if it wears down a little faster than a harder wheel, that's fine. Buy more wheels, A hard wheel is going to last longer, but it might not provide a good ride. And the amount of times that I get to skate, I don't skate enough to really worry about that. If I go through a set of wheels every 3 to 6 months, that's not a big problem. So looking into it, I think try 88s. And yeah, as soon as the Fitty Fitty wheels come out, I will share them here. So you'll be able to see what they're all about. And I'll be testing them. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a couple months though. So don't wait to buy wheels now. Go ahead and buy the Conjure wheels or buy some Securathanes or, something else. But, yeah, Fitty Fitty's coming eventually. Manual. Let me drink some water. So, first of all, welcome to skating. It's awesome. And as you can see in the comments, it's an amazing community. Highly recommend, looking on YouTube for, some of my old videos, but also look for this guy named 2Qs. So I don't think that he's on right now. If he is, he's silent, but 2QS. He just got back into skating. I don't know how old he is, but you can watch his videos of him getting back into skating after skating when he was in high school or whenever he was. And his videos are super inspirational because you can see the things that he's going through that we all went through trying to learn how to skate. Now, he has an advantage over you because he used to skate, but it's a very similar process that you're going to be going through as a new skater. Most important thing that I can recommend for anybody getting started with skating, especially if you're interested in aggressive skating, is know your limits. The famous quote from VG1, know your limits. Don't push yourself too hard, too fast. You will see people doing things that look amazing, dropping in on a transition, dropping in on a mini ramp. That's an amazing feeling. You're probably not ready for that. Get used to skating. Get used to just going out and skating in a straight line. And at the end of the straight line, learn how to stop and start going backwards the opposite way. Learn how to skate forwards, learn how to skate backwards, learn how to jump. Just a straight jump in the air, jump off a curb, jump over a crack, jump down some stairs, jump off a ramp. Just learn how to jump and absorb the impact when you land. So much of skating is jumping and falling and learning how to fall without getting hurt. Just practice that. Don't push yourself too fast to do handrails or mini ramp or anything like that. Just learn how to skate and learn how to have fun skating. As far as grinds are concerned, There's a few grinds that I highly recommend starting with. The Machio is probably the first one. If you're skating up to an obstacle, that's a one-footed sole grind. So you would just skate, 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 put the one foot on the ledge and you slide, and then you take your one foot off the ledge. Really easy to do, very low risk. You can do it while keeping the other foot on the ground so that you can get the feel for what grinding is like. And then slowly move yourself to a point where you can jump on with one foot, do a grab, and then jump off, and you're good to go. So that's going to take you months. And there's nothing wrong with that. So long as you're out there having fun, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Just go out there and skate. You know, nobody's going to sponsor anybody. Nobody's going to get, money for skating anymore. We're all in this to just have fun. So that would be my recommendation. Take it slow. Make sure that you have good skates. Make sure that you know what skates you have and you take care of your skates. Rotate your wheels especially. Make sure that your bearings roll nice. You don't have to spend a ton of money on bearings. Just make sure that you get some good bearings. Keep them clean. You don't have to clean them, with a oil or anything like that. Just make sure that you wipe them down so that the dirt that you're going to get from falling, the dirt doesn't go inside the bearing. Every time you rotate your wheels, just wipe off your bearings. They'll last for a while and they'll be fine. And if you are in an area that you have other skaters to skate with, Facebook is a great resource. See if you can find somebody in your area that will skate with you, or if there are sessions. It's always easier to learn if you have somebody to watch who already knows how to do it. Whether they give you pointers or not, whether you listen or not, doesn't matter. If you can see somebody doing it, you know that it's possible, and you'll be able to do it yourself. So good luck. I hope that helped. Yeah, definitely. If you're on Instagram or even Facebook, make sure to tag Back to Blading. Hashtag Back to Blading, or tag the Me But Back to Blading account, because I really want to see what you're doing. So post clips, and I'll be sure to share so that other people can cheer you on as well. Right. I'm coming up in an hour. Let's see. Stop teaching the noobs to step on. Dude, Machio's a commitment. I don't know if you've tried a Machio, but that's a commitment, man. You're going to shin yourself pretty hard if you miss. Yeah, I think stepping on is the way to do it. That's no shame in stepping on a Machio. I mean, that's a beginner. That's how you learn, It's not a it's not a jump on sort of trick. People hurt themselves doing that jump on. Anyway, what else? All right, I think I'm good. I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm going to stop talking. It's been a long week. It's only Wednesday, but it's been a long week. Guts skates. Oh, silly boy. Yes, the Guts skates. I think it sucks. Absolutely sucks. I mean, John has worked so hard on bringing this thing together, and there's some sort of a cheap knockoff. I hope nobody supports them. I hope that the market for the Guts skate is very small. It is not watching this channel. It sucks. I just hate seeing people's good ideas and passions being ripped off like that. It's depressing. So anyway, all right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And yeah, blading community. So love blading community. Thank you all for participating. The new video is coming out tomorrow announcing the new trick. It is an all-inclusive trick. Anybody can do it. Doesn't matter your setup. Doesn't matter how many wheels you have. You can do this trick. So I really want everybody to participate. Skaters of all levels are participating in this thing. It is a global thing. We all need to come together as a blading community to show how strong we are. And, I think it's amazing to see everybody's skate parks and everybody's setups and everybody trying these tricks. So really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.